I was a hellion back when I was in high school, and the chief of police over there, Pete Linton, was a good friend of ours, of the family's. And Pete called me into his office one day, and he said, Luke, he says, I hate to tell you this, but you better join the military or you're going to wind up in jail. And so I decided to go over and join, and I really wanted to fly in the Air Force. I was already a pilot, and because I learned how to fly up at Blackwell when I was 17. But I went over there and talked to the Air Force recruiter, and he said, you have to have a degree in order to fly for the Air Force. And he said, but you go down the hall and talk to the Army, and he said, you don't have to have anything to fly helicopters for the Army. So I went down there and talked to them and signed a contract to fly in the Army, fly helicopters. They call it the Legend. It was the helicopter war. And everything moved by helicopter over there, and resupplies, troop insertions, extractions, medevac, everything was done with helicopters. And I was a slick driver. I flew Hueys, H-model Hueys, and it consisted of a pilot, a co-pilot, a door gunner, and a crew chief. That's what we did. We made troop insertions and extractions and resupply. And just ash and trash, anything that needed to be done, that's what we did. And when I first went to Vietnam, I was stationed at On K, which was down in Tu Corps. And it wasn't too bad there, but I was only there about 4 months, and then they stood down and sent the 4th Army home. And when they sent 4th Army home, well, we drew straws, and I wound up going up north to I Corps, which is the last place that anybody wanted to go because it was so hot up there. And but I got fortunate, and they sent me up to Camp Evans to Alpha Company, 158th Aviation, the Ghost Riders. I was Ghost Rider 29 is what my call sign was over there. Everybody had call signs, you know. And everybody went by nicknames. And I was Luke, of course, and we had Sugar Bear and Scratch and all these other nicknames and everything. Well, that's what we went by. And when we came home, we didn't know what other guys' names were. But we were fortunate we had a guy that compiled all the information and everything, kept the Ghost Riders together. And we have a site now, a Ghost Rider site of our own that we all keep in touch with each other. We all have reunions every 4 years, so we have many reunions every year, and we all get together. It was an unwritten rule that if another pilot went down, another aircraft went down, we always went in and got them, no matter the situation. So anyway, Gov and Fertilizer got shot down out by Laos, and we went out. Sandy and I was going out to pick him up. Sandy was the aircraft commander, and I was flying right seat with him, and we were flying along, and I was the biggest chicken that ever hit Vietnam. I mean, I was scared all the time. And but anyway, we were flying along, and the good Lord gave me a vision, and it said, you're fixing to take, he spoke to me and said, you're fixing to take intense small arms fire, but not to worry, because you'll make it through all right, and you'll have one round in your tail rotor. And so I just had a perfect peace about me. And I turned to Sandy, and I told him what the Lord had just told me. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And no sooner did I tell him that, then the whole world opened up, and green tracers coming up, just hundreds of tracers all the way around us. And I had perfect peace about it. No worries at all. So it's just as soon as it started, it stopped. And we went on out there and picked up Gov and Fert, and we was on our way back in, and I told Sandy, I said that when we shut down, I said there'd be one round in the tail rotor. And we went back in and shut down, and we walked back there. There was one round in the tail rotor. And why the good Lord did that for me, I have no idea. I wasn't a born-again Christian back then, but I did believe about the Lord. And but anyway, for some reason, he gave me that vision.